After what should have been another fantastic day of race of the Xfinity Series, once again, NASCAR and officiating, absolute BS. What's up, everyone? My name is Jay. We're here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway following what was a chaotic Xfinity race, and once again, NASCAR dropped the ball on officiating. Like I said on Monday, how NASCAR officiated Talladega, they once again botched the finish of the Charlotte Roval. It seemed to be Parker Kligerman's race. He drove a fantastic race, was in position he needed to win in order to advance to the next round. And when he got by Sam Mayer, it seems as though that he was going all the way to win his first Xfinity race and advance into the round of 8. And then a caution came out with the number 42 car, I think it was Honeyman Jr., in the infield. And it was clear as day that it should have been a caution. He was underneath the tire barriers. But longer we wait, waiting. NASCAR is not throwing out the caution. And at the last second, NASCAR throws a yellow, going to overtime. Well, you would think that. It looked as though that Kligerman took the white flag after NASCAR put out the caution. But then it showed on TV video clip, talk about an inch or two, Kligerman was still behind the start-finish line to take the white flag. So he went into NASCAR overtime. Sam Mayer was then able, in a clean way, very clean way up in turn 7 to get to the inside of Parker Kligerman and was able to take the lead coming to the start-finish line. And Sam Mayer was able to go on and win the race. Now, Sam Mayer had a great car. AJ Allmendinger was fast. SVG was fast. It was a really good, entertaining Xfinity race, but that finish once again just proves how inconsistent and incoherent NASCAR is with their officiating. There was Elton Sawyer was right in front of me, right in front at the start-finish line. He walked onto the racetrack. I don't know what his thoughts are at the time of this recording, but I just don't understand. How do you let something like this slip by? Now, NASCAR said their reasoning does not help. As they said that, they didn't see it. They weren't able to really tell if he was stuck underneath the tire bears. I should mention that TV picked it up a lot quicker. They showed it almost right away before, again, Kligerman took the white flag. NASCAR fishing, the towers. How do you not have TVs at your studio? If you look over there, clearly it's big enough where I think you can have some TVs to show you what's going on. Because how does NBC pick it up so quickly? But again, NASCAR officiating, the NASCAR officials at the tower, they do not pick it up. It makes no sense. Okay, if you're going to officiate, if you're going to do things, do them properly. I don't know how many times we have to go through this. It seems like every single week, every single time, a great race where something's happening, the story doesn't matter, because all we're focused on once again is NASCAR and their garbage officiating once again. And it's absolutely pathetic, and it's just pissing me off because it happens now. It seems to be a daily thing. Now, credit to Parker Kligerman. He handled this interview with grace, but if I'm him, I would be livid because of how close it was. It was kind of like the All-Star race a couple years ago when Ryan Blaney was mere inches from taking the white flag when honestly, he should have taken the white flag, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But again, just how many times can this happen? The fact that this is in the playoffs where a driver's career, in this sense with Parker Kligerman, can be determined by something like that. And when you are missing critical calls like that, it devalues the race entirely almost, because we're focusing on officiating. We're focusing on, or I should say, the lack of officiating. So once again, thank you to NASCAR, because we should be talking about a great race, potentially like a first-time winner in Parker Kligerman in his final season. But once again, we're talking about officiating and how garbage it is. This needs to stop. This needs to be solved for 2025, because this cannot continue much longer. As for the race itself, like I said, it was a really good race. We traveled around the infield. There was a lot of awesome action spots for you to see. Incredible experience at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We saw not too many wrecks, but it was kind of shocking to see how much SVG wasn't in control of this race. I expected him, because he started on pole, I expected him to be a lot stronger in this race. So I was surprised to see the variety of different characters come into play. But I still feel for Parker Kligerman, because it seems as though that after that caution, when he took those 4 fresh tires, had a great battle with Gisbergen throughout the infield and coming out into NASCAR turn 2. Man, it just felt like that it was his race to win. But then you had also other drivers in the mix, like Jesse Love. He was trying to get into the playoffs, was not able to make it. He was battling with him and SVG, trying to make it as the 8th and final spot to advance to the round of 8. So from a playoff perspective, from a racing perspective, very entertaining. It was a very entertaining race, especially in the end. Those final 10 or so laps, the battle was very clean, good, solid racing, especially with the leaders up front with Mayer, Allmendinger, Gisbergen, and Kligerman. So very fun, very entertaining to watch. But again, I mean, you could see it in the crowd. I saw a lot of people in the crowd. They weren't very happy. They were just once again kind of shrugging it off. They're just like, oh God, this is happening once again. Obviously, social media, from what I've seen, extremely unhappy with the call. But again, this has to end. And ever since 2019 round when David Hoots left, it seems as though that NASCAR officiating has gone worse and worse. I don't know what has happened in terms of like what exactly has changed with NASCAR officiating since David Hoots left, but whatever it is, they need to fix it immediately, because with these next 3 to 4 races, with the round of 8 coming up for the Xfinity and the Cup Series, especially the championship for Phoenix, the last thing we need, especially in a championship battle, the last thing we need is to have the officiating basically determine who wins the championship instead of who is the best driver in that race. And I feel like, though, I'm just afraid that when Phoenix comes, whether it's the Trucks, Xfinity, or the Cup Series, we're not going to be talking about what happened on the racetrack. We're going to be talking about what happened in the tower.